everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you are doing great, and today we are going to discuss a topic from breast anatomy, that is structure of breast in detail. In the last part of the video we have discussed the location, deep extent and other things in detail. So this is second part of the video. If you haven't watched first part of the video, make sure you watch it. Okay, so starting with the structure of breast. The breast simply consists of three structures, that is skin, parenchyma or mammary gland, and third structure is stroma. Starting with the skin, it is as simple as that. Skin is the outer covering of breast. This is breast, the outer covering of breast will be skin. The first structure in skin which we will study is nipple. So it is conical projection which is present just below the center of the breast. In the last part of the video I have discussed, we have seen that the breast is divided into 4 quadrants. So I have drawn 4 quadrants over here, and the nipple will be present just below the center. So if this is the center, as you can see, it will be present just below the center of the breast. Okay, the nipple is located at the fourth intercostal space and 10 centimeter away from the midline. So if this is the sternum, the nipple will be present 10 centimeter away from the sternum or midline and located at fourth intercostal space. 15 to 20 lactiferous ducts will converge and open onto the nipple. So for the sake of understanding, I have only shown 3 lactiferous ducts over here. Okay, so like this there will be 15 to 20 lactiferous ducts present, and they will converge. All 15 to 20 lactiferous ducts will converge and open onto the surface of the nipple. Okay, the next point is, it is the most sensitive part. So this should be, you should remember this point. It is the most sensitive part and it has many sensory nerve endings. Okay, it has many sensory nerve endings, and it consists of few modified sweat and sebaceous glands also. There is one more important point, that the nipple has circular and longitudinal smooth muscle fibers. Okay, because of circular smooth muscle fibers, nipple will become stiff, whereas due to longitudinal smooth muscle fibers, the nipple will become flat. Okay, so this was about the nipple. The rest of the part we will see now, rest of the parts. Okay, that is areola. Now we will see second structure of the skin, that is areola. So areola is very simple. It is surrounding the nipple as circular pigmented area. So I have drawn nipple in the center, and surrounding the nipple I have shown areola as circular pigmented area. This will be circular pigmented area. The areola will consist of more number of modified sweat glands, and few sweat and mammary glands will be observed in the areola. So the importance of the sebaceous glands is that it will produce oily secretion, and due to this oily secretion there will be lubrication of nipple and areola. Which will prevent the nipple and areola from drying and cracking during the lactation. So due to the suckling of the baby, the nipple and areola should be prevented, or it should not dry and crack during the lactation. So it will prevent, the more number of modified sebaceous gland will prevent the nipple and areola from drying. The next point is that these modified sebaceous glands will enlarge in size during the pregnancy or lactation as small elevations which are known as Montgomery's tubercles. So I have shown nipple, surrounding the nipple is areola, and inside the areola we can observe that this modified sebaceous glands will become enlarged as small elevations which are known as Montgomery's tubercles. Okay, so I have labeled Montgomery's tubercles over here. So these are small elevations. The next important point is that nipple and areola are devoid of hair. Okay, so there will be no hairs in this region and also no fat. So the nipple and areola are devoid of fat and hairs. Okay, now we will look at mammary gland or parenchyma in detail. Okay, now we will study parenchyma or mammary gland in detail. So parenchyma is also known as mammary gland. In the parenchyma we will study that 15 to 20 lactiferous lobes converge and open onto the surface of the nipple. So while explaining nipple, I have already covered this point that for the sake of understanding, I have only showed 3 lactiferous lobes, but actually there are 15 to 20 lactiferous lobes. So 15 to 20 lactiferous lobes will converge, they will converge and open onto the surface of the nipple. Okay. So the expanded view I have drawn over here, expanded view of lactiferous lobe. So we can observe that lactiferous lobe, this lactiferous lobe is in turn divided into lobules. So this is one lactiferous lobe. If we consider, it is divided into many lobules. Okay. So one lactiferous lobe is divided into many lobules, and lobules will consist of the cluster of acini or alveoli. So I have shown the cluster of acini or alveoli by red marker over here as clusters. Due to this, the mammary gland is also known as tubulo-alveolar gland, as simple as that. Okay. Now each lactiferous lobe will drain onto the surface of the nipple via lactiferous duct. Each lactiferous lobe is drained by lactiferous duct. Okay. Each lobe will drain via lactiferous duct onto the surface of the nipple. Lactiferous sinus present at its termination as small expanded structure or dilation. So I have shown over here that at the termination of lactiferous duct, so this is lactiferous duct, this is lactiferous duct, at its termination, where it ends, so at its termination there is small expanded structure, or dilation known as lactiferous sinus. So this lactiferous sinus is the reservoir of milk. So the milk is stored in this lactiferous sinus. Okay. The next point is the breast is separated from pectoral fascia by loose areolar connective tissue called as retromammary space. And due to this retromammary space, the breast can freely move over pectoral fascia. So as we can see that this is pectoral fascia, deep pectoral fascia. This is breast. So the breast is separated from pectoral fascia by retromammary space. So this black line, it is pectoral fascia, deep pectoral fascia, and the breast is separated from the pectoral fascia by retromammary space. So it will consist of loose areolar connective tissue. So this will have loose areolar connective tissue, due to which the breast can freely move. It can freely move over pectoral fascia. Due to this, the breast will not become fixed, but it can move over pectoral fascia due to the presence of retromammary space. Okay. So we have covered parenchyma or mammary gland in detail. Now we will study the last structure, that is stroma. Now we will study stroma in detail. So this is third structure of the breast. So the stroma, it will form the supporting framework of the breast. It will consist of connective tissue and fat. Connective tissue will form septa, known as suspensory ligaments of Cooper. So we can observe that the suspensory ligaments of Cooper, shown by green marker, and I have labeled it. So this suspensory ligament of Cooper, it will anchor the skin or dermis of the breast. It will anchor the skin or dermis of the breast with pectoral fascia, shown by black marker. So this suspensory ligament of Cooper will anchor the skin surface of the breast with the deep pectoral fascia. So it will anchor the skin or dermis of the breast to the pectoral fascia or deep pectoral fascia. And due to the atrophy of this suspensory ligament of Cooper, in old age, it will result in pendulous breast. Okay. And the next point is fat is distributed all over the breast except nipple and areola, which we have already discussed. So this portion will consist of, or this will be distributed by fat, but the surface of nipple and areola will be devoid of the fat and hairs. Okay. So we have discussed the structure of breast in detail. So let us quickly revise it. So this is the breast. The outer covering of the breast is skin. Skin will have two structures, nipple and areola. Both will be divided of fat and hairs. Okay. So after skin, we can observe lactiferous lobes. Each lactiferous lobe is divided into lactiferous tubules. Lactiferous tubule will consist of cluster of acini or alveoli. Okay. At the termination of lactiferous duct, we will see small expansion or dilation known as lactiferous sinus. This lactiferous sinus is the reservoir or reservoir of milk where the milk is stored. Okay. And if we observe from the superficial to the deep section, we can observe the following structures. Outermost will be skin. After the skin, superficial pectoral fascia will be present, which is not shown over here. Okay. After superficial pectoral fascia, we can observe lobes, lactiferous lobes. After it, we can observe retromammary space. After retromammary space, we can observe pectoral fascia. After deep pectoral fascia, we can observe pectoralis major muscle. After it, we can observe pectoralis minor muscle. After it, we can observe ribs. Okay. And after rib, we can observe lungs. Okay. So these are the structures present if we observe from superficial part to the deeper section of the breast. Okay. This will be superficial part, this will be deeper part. Okay. So I think you have understood this topic. Now I assure you that after studying this, you will be able to understand this topic from complex reference books like Atlas or Gray's Anatomy book. Okay. In the next part of the video, we will discuss blood supply, nerve supply and venous drainage in detail. Okay. So if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share this video with as many people as you can so that maximum students can get benefit from this video. Okay. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.